Hello everybody, Shoutout Host 102 here with an action figure review, the first 3 waves of the Sonic the Hedgehog 3-inch line. I'll be reviewing these categories today: boxes, articulation, sculpt, proportions, accessories, warnings. First, I'll do boxes. Basically, all the boxes of all the 3-inch line figures look the same, except for the Eggman and Metal Sonic pack and the Super pack. I'll review the Super pack first. Now, Supersonic Boom, they have rated this a 10 out of 10 for this box, but I only have to give it a 9 and maybe 9.5. It has very nice artwork on it of all the supers. It's very nice. Although I'm very aware that it's basically just recolors of, regular Sonic artwork, except for Supersonic. And it says Supersonic, Super Pack all over it, and it says the Super Silver, Super Sonic, and Super Shadow in there, and it tells you it's got Chaos Emeralds. And it's safety tested, which is good. And it's got this little silver sticker representing that. My only complaint with this is that, although there's some very nice artwork of the Chaos Emeralds, the only complaints for the Super Pack are that they got the colors of the Chaos Emeralds wrong. Because if you look over here, you see, this one was supposed to be, this originally was the orange one. It may look like it's black to you, but it's actually midnight blue. That's why I've decided to go into the old days and disclude the 7th Chaos Emerald and just have 6 Chaos Emeralds back in the days of Sonic 1, So yeah, I tried to use a Sharpie to recolor and make it the color accurate, but I kind of failed with that. And the only other complaint with this is that the box only has 1 picture of Supersonic on it. It's just like the same thing 4 times on the box. What I think would have been a better strategy was to put Sonic right here, Shadow right here, and Silver over here on the side that nobody looks at because Silver sucks. So, solid 9 on the Super Pack box, and the Eggman and Metal Sonic box is capable of winning a solid 10. Because on the back here, it had, before I tore the box apart, I wasn't really planning to do a review, but on the back of the box it had character descriptions of Metal Sonic and Dr. Robotnik or Eggman, whichever one you prefer. It's also the same thing with the Vector and Espio pack. And not only is this an awesome box because it has a great background and information on the characters, but actually it's because you can actually reuse it as a set. I can make several rooms in, Dr. Eggman's secret fortress or something by, taking out this and, maybe putting a computer right here like I did in Needle Mouse, the 3-inch musical. And, I also fixed up this cell, Metal Sonic was in, and to make it open and closable so he can get out. And, interesting story about my Metal Sonic figure. The warnings on him that I'd like to point out right now is that his head articulation was really stiff. His head articulation was so stiff that when I tried it, I actually pulled his head off. It's kind of like the Sonic Adventure Resaurus Tails figure that Sonic Toast has. Basically, his Tails figure got decapitated just like mine, except his got hung and his head snapped off, and I just tried to use it. And his hand articulation was also so stiff that if you look closely, I actually had to put tape on to put his hand back on, because his wrist joints are so spindly, or whatever you would call it. And also his elbow articulation was really stiff, but eventually I was able to get that working. With one of them, I had to scratch off almost all the inner elbow paint doing so. So yes, 10 out of 10 for the Eggman and Metal box. Now for articulation. Excluding only 5 of the figures, all of the figures have 14 points of articulation. In the ankle, the knee, the hip, the waist, the neck, the elbow, the shoulder, and the wrist. Except, the only exceptions are for Vector and Tails, who both have 15 points of articulation, because they have rotatable tails. Eggman, who only has, about 10, I think, because he doesn't have neck, I don't think, or waist, or ankle joints. The Werehog, who only has 12, because he doesn't have any wrist joints. And Amy, who doesn't have a waist joint. Now for the sculpt. The sculpt, especially on Tails and Robotnik and Metal Sonic, are absolutely perfect. Like, it's basically perfect, except for Silver. He's the only exception, because his legs and the arms are so, like, chunky, or stocky, or knobbly, the 3 words that Supersonic Boom used to describe the chunky armed figure. And especially on the Super Pack, there can be a lot of paint errors. Not including Supersonic having black lines around his eyes. That was just a mistake they made. Hopefully you'll find a mispainted figure that actually would be properly painted if it were missing these lines. So, I don't know, maybe. Now, you may notice that I don't have clear blue Sonic. I didn't bother to get him. I just waited for the single pack of Knuckles. Because Supersonic Boom led me to believe that he sucks. So for proportions, basically everybody's proportions are perfect. Because basically all the characters are basically the same height. And they weren't actually afraid to go out of their way to make the figures taller than 3 inches. Like with Eggman and Vector, they were actually willing to just, like, you know, make them taller. Now for accessories. Eggomatic from Sonic 4. I made this one out of half of a wiffle ball, a whole mess of Bendaroos, and some silver-colored tape. Next, I have all the black stands shaped like a Sonic Spin Dash attack. Now you might remember Sonic, like, charging up to, like, run really fast in the Needle Mouse the 3-inch musical. Well, I actually took that was actually made of Bendaroos too. I took that and I, like, made it bigger and I put some, like, spikes on it so he's like a living buzzsaw, like what he looked like in the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA movie, so it looks better. Also, I made a smoke outline, which is kind of cool. Also, I made Amy her Pico hammer. Kind of a weird name for a hammer. The Master Emerald! It's just a clay emerald that I stand up with the tire of a Mario Kart candy thing that I got. The 6, yes 6, like in the old days of Sonic 1, the 6 Chaos Emerald. Now here's the white and orange Wisps. I just made him blue because that's the color I thought he was at the time. Also, if I used white Bendaroos to make his body, it looked kind of weird. Like, his entire upper body was like an eye. But it's not. Sonic and the Black Knight Sonic's Sword Calibur. Knave. I shall call you Knave the Hedgehog. Probably gonna... You know, I don't actually think there's a Sonic 3-inch figure fanfiction that has actually involved Calibur talking. Which is kind of weird. In fact, I don't even think there's been a Sonic and the Black Knight specifically fanfiction. So overall, I would give the line a solid 10. Well, maybe 9.5 because of, you know, Silver's chunky limbs, kind of the box, and the misprint of the Chaos Emeralds, and the first release of Tails, because there were 2 releases of Tails. One didn't have these black part of his cuffs painted in, and his tails were untwistable. They were just like this, and they were untwistable, and they broke off easily. Then they released this one because of complaints. So yeah, I'd give it a solid 9.5. Wonderful figures. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, the Sonic 06 playthrough on my Cheddar Toast Commons channel should be coming soon, so hope for that. Bye.